Welcome back to IntyCenter, everybody. And before we do our whip around FODEUSS, just a reminder, whatever day you're watching this, and I'm recording this on February 13th, 2026, it is Friday the 13th, but it is also a great day to abolish ICE. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about Cy Young. If you've been in the thread, you probably saw Ted Williams catch some strays, but let's be honest on the season. Cy Young is apparently the Michael Jordan I took that personally meme after reading some Finty Bomb. He opens up this week with a six-hit shutout. That game pushed him to 2-1 with a 2.43 ERA. It's a 2-1 win. Doc Gooden ends up being a hard luck loser, giving up just 2 runs. Elsewhere, Andy Pettit and Ron Darling, they combined to blank the bandwagoners. Elston Howard, Bobby Grich, Mookie Betts, love that last name. They all homer for Reseda. Reseda rolls at home to an 8-0 win. Excuse me. Jesse Tannehill, he gives up just 3 hits as he blanks the Animes. Bob Gibson gave up just 3 hits as Sithy blanked the throws. And Sandy Koufax and Dwayne Ward gave up just 3 hits as they combined to blank the bandwagoners. That same day, Performance Enhancers did manage to get 5 hits off Lefty Grove, but he and Joe Nathan still blanked them 5-0. The loss in that game drops Old Hoss Radbourne to 1-4, despite an ERA of 1.43. He does that in a game where he tosses 174 pitches. I'm pretty sure Blake Snell has gone entire seasons where he hasn't tossed 174 pitches. Uh, just a little note, the enhancers are averaging nearly 5 runs a game across all their games, but they're averaging less than 2 runs a game when Old Hoss is their starter. Ah, that's just unfortunate. Hey, the Jakes, Peavy and Arietta combined for 2 hits and no runs allowed for the Surfers against the Shack Barons. Unfortunately for the Surfers, Shohei Ohtani started that game. He gives up 5 runs in the first. That's enough for the Barons. They're going to win that one 5-1. Uh, Game of Throws, they get a clutch leadoff homer from Sherry McGee in the top of the ninth to tie it at 2 against brand new ball players. But a 2-out single from Alex Rodriguez and a double from Buster Posey would walk it off for brand new ball players just 4 batters later, and they win that one 3-2. Birmingham, they got a leadoff homer from King Kelly and a 2-out RBI double from Ted Williams in the bottom of the eighth. That gives them a 6-4 lead. But the Surfers rally for 3 in the ninth, and it really could have been more in the ninth. They hit into an 8-3-2 double play. Johan Santana retires that son of a bitch George Gore to end it, and the Surfers win that one 7-6. All right, we posted about these two in the thread. We put up the screenshots. Let's talk about them here. First, Al Simmons with a 2-out RBI single in the top of the ninth ties it at 3 between the enhancers and Let's Play 2. We get to the 13th inning before we get another run. It comes quickly, though. A pinch hit homer from Ernie Lombardi. Later in that inning, a grand slam from Jocko Milligan. That makes it 8-3 to the enhancers. Let's Play 2 starts their half of the 13th with a triple and a wild pitch. That scores 1 run. They don't get any others. They drop the decision in 13 to the enhancers, 8-4. But in all honesty, that was the warm-up to the madness elsewhere. We go to Minneapolis, and it's a pinch hit solo homer from Joe Medwick in the eighth. That's going to put the Onhelds up 2-1. But a 2-out homer in the top of the ninth from Cupid Childs puts the Gales of November back on top, only for Eddie Matthews to unload a game-tying 2-run homer in the bottom of the ninth. So we're tied at 4, and of course, we're going to stay tied at 4 until the 13th inning. Hank Greenberg, He hits a two-run homer. That puts the Angels ahead 6-4. Sox Saybold. He hits a two-run homer. That makes it 8-4. Gavy Kravith. He hits the grand slam to make it 12-4. We're not done with madness, though. Bottom of the inning, it's a three-run homer from Robin Yount. We're now within 12-7, but the Gales can't get any closer. The Angels are going to win that one 27 or 12-7. There were 32 hits in that game, by the way. A lot of offense, a lot of offense. But it wasn't all big bats and extra innings on the 28th. Elston Howard doubles with 2 outs in the first, and that's the only hit allowed by Carl Hubble in the game. He retires the next 23 batters he faced before an error ended that streak in the ninth. He'd only faced 29 batters in the game. He'd strike out 5 of them. He wouldn't walk any of them. He gets a game score of 90. New York State of Mound beats the Free Fallers 1-0. And here's the thing. We've kind of buried the lead in this one. The only run in the game came via walk-off, and it was an unearned run thanks to a Willie Mays single. What a crazy game. Seriously. Do you have a favor? Check out the log and the box score from that one. All right. We're going to spend a lot of time on this one. When Jeff Bagwell scored on a pass ball in the top of the 7th, and he made it 7-3 in favor of Atlanta Animes, that clubhouse was feeling good about ending their 10-game losing streak. Well, those vibes probably went up in smoke when a Pete Browning 3-run homer highlighted a 6-run bottom of the inning that put the Barons on top 9-7. But those vibes came right back because the Animes got a 5-run top of the 8th, and they take a 12-9 lead. The Barons get 1 run back in the bottom of the 8th, but at 12-10 heading into the 9th, the Animes are feeling good about snapping that losing streak. Bottom of the 9th, they go to their closer, Bruce Sutter. John McGraw gets a leadoff single. Ross Barnes drew a walk. The tying runs are on base with nobody out. Tension is rising in the dugout, but Sutter strikes out Ted Williams. And then a Fred Dunlap fly ball moves McGraw to third. But that's the second out of the inning. Atlanta 1 out away from snapping their losing streak at 10. But Pete Browning singles, that scores John McGraw. Joe Jackson gets an infield single that loads the bases. That son of a bitch, George Gore, singles to tie it. King Kelly singles to walk it off. It's a heartbreaking, soul-crushing 13-12 loss for the Animes. Their 11th in a row. And man, I know that they've been no hit during this streak, but I have to imagine no loss is going to feel worse than that one. Let's go ahead and talk about the last day of April. We got a couple more extra inning thrillers. First, out in San Diego, we're tied at 3 after the D-Bags and the Surfers trade runs in the 4th inning. We're still tied at 3 in the 10th inning. Not tied anymore after Shohei Ohtani hits a 2-run homer off Zach Greinke. That drives in 2 unearned runs, but it is a walk-off victory for the Surfers. They win at 5-3. Now, that was tame because it's a little crazier out in Honolulu. In the top of the 8th, a 2-run homer from former Sithy outfielder Roberto Clemente puts Jolly Roger up 2-1. Albert Pujols got a 2-out RBI single in the top of the 9th that pushes that lead to 3-1. Bottom of the 9th, though, it's an RBI single from Earl Averill, a sac fly from George Sisler. We're tied at 3. We go to the 11th, and it's a 2-out single from Nap LaJoie. That's going to score Deacon White for a walk-off, and Sithy are going to win that one 4-3. And then we'll end this week, and we'll end the month of April on this one. My favorite score line in baseball. Sam Streeter leaves the game injured after not giving up a hit through 4 2/3 innings. Babe Ruth and Joe Nathan had his back. Ruth hitless in relief. Nathan does give up 2 hits. We were this close to the first combined no-hitter in FODEUSS history. Alas, it wasn't meant to be. It also wasn't meant to be for Bob Feller. He goes 8 innings, gives up 6 hits, strikes out 7. but he gives up the only run of the game. It's a Roger Bresnahan solo homer in the fourth. The Gales win that one 1-0. That's going to do it for a crazy week here in FODEUSS. We will see you next time for another whip around on IntyCenter.